Welcome to this webinar, which is being held dans le contexte de Stockholm+50. And I will now go through the agenda just to let you know what is going to happen. We're a bit late. We should have started 18:45, so we're about 20-25 minutes late because of the technical problem we have. We have 3 speeches in the beginning, will be very short. We have the apologies of Mrs. Tanzila Sanko, so I'll just say a few words on her behalf. And then we have 4 presentations by the Rotary Club of Beaubassin, of JCI, from the Rotact Club and Rotact Club, and also by the Rotary Club of Haute-Rive. And in the meantime, we are having Mrs. Anjani Bowen to be connected. So if I may proceed from there, I'll just say a few words of welcome. Like I mentioned, the head of environment of UNDP could not come. And so I'll say a few words on her behalf. So I hope Mrs. Manik is there. So in terms of protocol, we have Mrs. Nisha Manik, acting Divisional Environment Officer from the Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change. Mr. Arvind Otel Singh, President of Rotary Club of Beaubassin-Rosilles. And we have also several other presidents. So I'll say presidents of Rotary Club, past presidents, members of Rotary Clubs, Rotact, Interact, and also of Jeune Chambre International. And ladies and gentlemen, so this is a warm welcome to you all. So it'll be a very short message because we are late. We still have a few persons who have a problem, and we'll try to solve that as we go along. So we welcome you to this consultation session, which is being organized as part of the national consultations in Mauritius, in the context of the international meeting, which is scheduled in June 2022 in Stockholm to celebrate the 50 years since the convening of the UN Conference on the Human Environment. So I will go straight away to say that today we welcome the participation of service clubs, namely, like I just mentioned, Rotary Club, Rotact clubs, Interact clubs, and we also have JCI of GeoPIP. And we know that all the service clubs have a good track record in social and environmental service to the community. And also we have a good component of youth in today's audience. So I wish to mention that UNDP has been assigned the task to support some 60 countries in their national consultation for Stockholm+50. And in Mauritius, UNDP is working in close collaboration with the Ministry of Environment. So I'll stop here and I'll say thank you to all on behalf of UNDP. And I hope now I can have Mr. Otel Singh, President of Rotary Club of Beaubassin-Rosilles, to say a few words.
All right, Past President Madhu, thank you. I'm trying to get my camera on, but I'm not able to, but never mind. Technical problem happened. So Past President Madhu, thank you once again for the invitation today. Mrs. Nisha Manik, Acting Divisional Environment Officer, Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change, dear presidents of Rotary Club of all the Rotary Club of Mauritius who are present today, Rotarians, Rotaractors, Interactors, greetings. I'm very pleased to be here with all of you during this webinar organized by UNDP and Past President Madhu. Let me first of all congratulate Past President Madhu because he's been the one allowing the Rotary clubs to participate in this national consultation, Stockholm+50. And today, we can say that we are all concerned about the healthy planet. Our actions should reflect what we intend to see in the future. And it's our responsibility to contribute to ensure our younger generation benefits the same facilities we have all benefited. We as Rotarians, we are actually focusing on the SDG goals and I know that this task was given to Rotarian Sunil and past President Chris, who have been working with some Rotarians of the club, and I know that other Rotarians and interactors and Rotaractors have been dismantled.
All right. I hope in the meanwhile, Stefan, let's start in the meanwhile with a presentation of Mr. Chris Bangchi. You have about 10 minutes. Let's try to respect the time. You're going to project your own PowerPoint. And in the meanwhile, I hope Stefan or Mrs. Jean-Yann can contact Mrs. Bowen to get her in. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. Ms. Tanzila Sanko, Head of Environment, UNDP. Mrs. Anisha Manik, Acting Acting Director of Environment, Acting Division Environment Officer, sorry, Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change. Mr. Arvind Yutel Singh, President of Rotary Club of Bobassa, Brazil. Past presidents, past presidents and members of the Rotary Clubs, Rotact clubs and Interact clubs, and Jeune Chambre Économique. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. I'm Past President Chris Bangchi, for those who don't know me. And I have the immense pleasure to present the voices of Rotarians to these three leadership themes which we have been asked to ponder upon and reflect. And our actions in connection with these 17 SDGs of 2030. All those who know the Rotary Club in the world, I hope you will join me to take pride that since more than 100 years now, Rotary Club have always harnessed actions under all ORI's Rotary International Presidents International around the 4-way tests, which has been taken as an example for good governance in the world. And also around the Rotary ideals, which has an arcing overall objective to serve the humankind. And if we look at my slides, just for a second, please, right? And you will see that the presenters, myself, plus all my team, under the leadership of Rotarian Sunil Bisun, right? We have 40 members in our club. And these slides laudably indicates since the Millennium Goal 2000 and ended in 2015, and the United Nations 17 SDGs 2030, which is now on and is nearing completion. So all these 17 SDGs is just in front of you. And it's not a coincidence that Rotary clubs around the world, as well as our club and many clubs in Mauritius, we have been somehow focusing on these 17 SDGs. It's no coincidence. So our club, for the time being, we have been dealing with more than 50% of all these 17 goals. As you can see, it's listed down. I will dwell a little bit on this at the end to show you for each of these numbered goals what we have been doing since a decade in our club, and also what we will be doing in the future to continue contribute to the success of these 17 SDGs. Now, I would like to bring to you our group reflection of theme 1, right? we strongly propose urgently that each owner of a vehicle could perhaps plant 3 trees annually before renewing insurance or registrations. And now we come to the same one, which is what could be the urgent actions from our group that will achieve a healthy planet and prosperity for all. So as I said, I repeat again, that we thought that maybe vehicle owners, how many vehicle owners we have in this country, that they could perhaps each owner plant 3 trees every year before renewing the insurance and the road tax registration as well. Then on the other side, I think our local laws need to be reinforced, right? For those who are doing kind of development, but they are felling down trees, and those who are felling down trees for infrastructure development, for example, they need to replace trees by 5-fold. Maybe look, they'd be too ambitious, but I think we need to be quite serious about these things now, right? Now, when I'm talking about when we come to the second theme, like if we want to achieve sustainable and inclusive recovery from COVID pandemic, I think this is another coincidence, maybe again. Before the pandemic, there was the development. There was a standard that was introduced worldwide, which is business continuity management system, which you end up by having a business continuity plan. And this business continuity plan, believe me, it should be tested and validated, because we all know during the pandemic what happens when there's lockdown, what happens. Our flora and fauna, of course, will be affected. So therefore, during these disruptions, we need to continuously take care of these flora and fauna, right? And I think it's high time now that government and private to rethink on making maybe flour, right, from breadfruit plant. We've got a lot of breadfruit plants in Mauritius, and use the moringa plant, which is now known worldwide to be the magic plant, amongst others, to produce various forms of foodstuff. Why not, right? This will lead to ensure the food security, right? Now, enhance green jobs with food security, doing hybrid work, working using high-tech means that reduce greenhouse gas. We all know we were a bit reluctant to work from home, but now we're working from home. We are reluctant to go back to the office. But now, to succeed in all this hybrid type of working, of course, we need equipment, fast connection. So I hope that now we need to have financial support from the government or somewhere else to go high-tech. Now, when we come to the leadership engagement, leadership dialogue 3, where how to accelerate the implementation of any actions that we think would be needed. So I think the EIA, which is a requirement for any development, any business, or the PER, which is the preliminary environmental review for any building and construction businesses, of course, because these are the main, the core businesses or the major businesses that consume our resources. Of course, those that affects our ecological balance, and we need to dissuade continued in illegal practices. So therefore, we have to coerce these stuff. We don't say stop doing business, but at least we should be under control conditions, right? We need more expert and financial support from maybe United Nations to adopt and implement more sustainable development projects to protect against the island vulnerability. We are very vulnerable. Or maybe some other islands who have been doing something successful with regards to climate change, its effects and impacts. We could have shared and get inspired with them and to do something for our own country and the neighboring islands. Encourage more good governance practices with adequate visibility among government as well as private players, because good governance is still in the doldrum, I suppose. Now, I would like to take you through to the Rotary Club of Bobassa, Brazil, up to now, what we have done, which relates to the 17 SDGs, but we are not we're not dealing with all the 17, but at least 50%. I'll go through this. The list is quite long. We have already produced a Word document where there's a long list of all these activities, but I'll just go through one of them and a few of them, the core ones. Like SDG 1, no poverty. So what our club have been doing so far is mainly the collection of food and basic needs to distribute to deprived, needy people. And this is not only a one-off, it's always falls in the agenda of any incoming president, of course. Distribution of water tanks to provide access to potable water. So we can't do everything in the whole island, but at least water tanks, there has been many needy people who can't afford to get a 24/7 kind of water. So therefore, giving them water tanks, they can at least harvest some kind of rainwater and use it for their own use, the basic needs. Recently, we did some donation to schools, primary and pre-primary children, shoes that they might be very happy, and they'll be increasing their presence and be motivated to enhance their education.
Yeah,
now,
sorry to interrupt you, Grace. The time is over, but I give you 1 or 2 minutes to wrap up.
Yeah, please.
Right?
I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Madhu. Regarding hunger, right? We've got breakfast for school children, food and clothing to disaster-stricken. Recently, we sent to Madagascar. Then cereals and foodstuff during the pandemic. This is also we tried to give to homes and shelters. We're talking of good health and well-being, which is SDG 3. We collected blood during the lockdown. We tried to convince police to get access, and we have been able to give coagulation machine to hospitals, drug analyzer to police force. In education, we have held so many seminars and webinars, including IT literacy for the elderly. Now, gender equality, we have done so many talks on gender equality, and we have organized painting competition to Women's Day. Clean water and sanitation, it's ongoing cleanup campaign, embellishment of gardens, water tank distribution to Roderic's, right? Climate change, we've been trying to increase the initiative of planting endemic trees. Then we also participated in cleaning up of oil spillage in lagoon. You all know about the shipwreck recently. Then life on land, collection of cuts and foods to feed the stray animals during the pandemic. So therefore, I'm not going to read my last slide, but this one is what we think that Stockholm+50 might be thinking to promote and continue in the good laudable initiative. I think we need more Rotary clubs participating in local oriented projects, and we need to have platforms, we need to have interactive websites where many countries who have been doing so well or they have tried to do something could be shared and what you call encourage island like us to do some projects. Then we need pool of experts, of course, that can go around the countries where it's needed, where they can help and facilitate and guide. Then biannual meetings in the region where projects can be appreciated and recognized and rewards given. So here you are, right? I know time was off. So this is what from us. Any question, any concern, please, I'm at your disposal. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity, Madhu.
Yeah, thank you, Pipi Chris. Because of the tight time schedule, I think we'll take the question at the end. I would suggest that we allow each one to make their presentation. So a very warm thank you to not only Pipi Chris, who just made a presentation, but as you mentioned, there's a full team who work on that, and it reflects the views of the club also. I'm pleased to see Mr. Anjana Bowen has joined us on the screen. So, so over now, before going to the second presentation, just a few words. We didn't talk much about it. So in case some people join us late, we're talking about the national consultations which are taking place under the Stockholm+50 project, 50 years since 1972. And UNDP is working closely with the Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change to carry out these consultations. And I hope before the end, Mrs. Manik is also there. Thank you. If you're able to talk,
Yes.
you tell me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now you can. Yes, you can hear me now. Yeah. Okay.
Very well, Mrs. Manik. Very well. We can hear you.
No. First, I would like to apologize for this technical. It was really unforeseen technical issue, but I'm so happy that finally I can join you all. I guess I missed the whole of the protocol. I don't know.
Fine.
But I just joined, but I'm so happy that I was able to at least attend the presentation of Mr. Chris Panchi. And I think this is what we are really, looking forward to hearing from all these stakeholders, your views and your ideas. And okay, I won't go through my speech because I know you are already short of time, but please allow me to thank both the UNDP and also the Rotary, the whole of the Rotary family for taking your precious time, because I think at this time, I see 60 participants. I think it's already a big achievement. And so big congratulations to the whole team for being together here to reflect on, I should say, our common future. And so you already know about Stockholm+50 and what we are, what are what we are going to, expect from the international conference. But just for the benefit of the participants, I would just like to, just make an interesting point here that, at the Stockholm so the first conference in 1972, so it was at that conference that the 5th of June was designated as the World Environment Day. And it was at that, the first theme of the World Environment Day was only one Earth, une seule terre. And this year, 50 years later, so we are having the same theme for the World Environment Day, that is only one Earth. So what does that mean? It means that finally, the reality is the same. We have only one Earth. We're still having only one planet to live in. So we have no other option than to take care of this Earth. And so therefore, this is why and especially in the wake of the triple planetary crisis. So maybe I would like just to explain what is triple planetary crisis that we are all facing. So it's the climate change, the loss of biodiversity and pollution. So this is where we want reflection. So how to address this triple planetary crisis. And also we are having the emerging challenges of the COVID-19. So we know that both the climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic, we know that they have compelled us to realize that to what extent our world is fragile. And we know that so the nature is supreme, and that an unhealthy planet, it threatens the human health, the prosperity, quality, and peace, as well as the achievement of the SDGs. So I won't tell you more. I prefer to let the presenters present. But one thing that I would like to mention is that because I see so many ideas and so many like innovative ideas coming. So from the ministry side, I would just like to say that we are welcoming the Rotary, the family, the club, to also because you are our privileged partner. So in case you want to have activities with the ministry, so we are most, open for all these activities. So yeah, let us continue with the other presenters. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Manik. I'll give you a couple of minutes at the end again, because I know you missed your speech, so you can, you'll be able to intervene again. I would like to say just post the last one, that actually the Rotary Club of Boston has filled a questionnaire that they've sent us. So the presentation is just a summary. And in most cases, it's going to be like that, because we won't have time to go through all the questionnaires. So I thank everybody. Now I pass on the mic to Hanusha Chedi, President of JCIC. Can you put on your video? And yeah, may I remind you 10 minutes, please, because we're going to try to stay within the limit, and we'll give you a reminder around 9-10 minutes. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Ms. Tanzila Sanko, Head of Environment, UNDP. Mrs. Nisha Manik, Acting Divisional Environment Officer. Ministry of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change. Mr. Arvind Otel Singh, President of Rotary Club of Beaubassin-Roséal. Presidents, past presidents and members of the Rotary Clubs, Rotact and Interact Clubs, and JCI members. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to be here tonight for this session. So I'm Hanusha Chedi, local president of JCI QPIP. JCI is an organization of young people aged between 18 to 40. And our mission is to provide development opportunities that empower young people to create positive change in the community. JCI QPIP has been present in Mauritius for the past 38 years, and since its creation, JCI QPIP has been working in the interest of the community. Our activities have been impactful and in line with our community. Today, we are here to deliberate on free leadership dialogues. I believe that JCI QPIP members here will be proud that through our projects, we have been working on resolving the points mentioned, which you will get a chance to see some minutes later. And just to say that since the COVID-19 pandemic, JCI has been working on JCI RISE projects, which focuses on 3 pillars: mental health, workforce empowerment, and business recovery, which are quite in line with what we are going to deliberate. And these pillars are also aligned with the UN SDG. We believe that it is our responsibility as young active citizens to make our voice heard and act for a cause. So I would like to end my speech here, and I will invite my local Vice President, Kamal Gurochan, to share our reflections. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, local President Hanusha. All protocols observed. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is with immense pleasure that we are sharing our views on the free leadership dialogue tonight. So to start with the first leadership dialogue. Yes. So to start with our first leadership dialogue, which is on reflecting on the urgent need for action, we believe that we need to increase awareness and practical action for environmental protection. And we also believe that improving food resilience by encouraging our youth to engage in more smart agriculture like hydroponics. And thirdly, we believe that we need to increase youth engagement in sustainability policies at national level. And just to give you a better overview of these topics, so we've come up with several projects, and you can see on our screen, the youth mentoring program was based on matching youth to mentees. So they were having mentees to coach them. And also we've been collaborating with the University of Mauritius, whereby we've been organizing the Youth Voice to COP26, a platform providing youth with the skills and knowledge. And we've been organizing lots of workshops and training whereby they could voice out their concern against climate change. To move on with the second dialogue, so which is about achieving a sustainable and inclusive recovery from coronavirus. So we believe that recovery from the pandemic can be based on more approaches like encouraging cultivation of abundant lands, more community engagement at grassroots level, and also opportunities for a civic development in our youth. And this topic is very much aligned with JCI RISE, as our local president Hanusha Chedi mentioned. RISE is JCI's reaction to COVID-19 pandemic from an economic perspective. And we've been developing projects in line with our 3 pillars, which are firstly, sustaining and rebuilding economies by supporting small local businesses. Secondly, motivating the workforce through youth entrepreneurship. And thirdly, preserving mental health and well-being. And just to give you some cliches of our projects, so we have had a blood donation campaign and ongoing blood donation session with the Ministry of Health and Quality of Life. We've been distributing food to needy people, and also our most famous project, which is EcoNet training, which is quite unique in Mauritius. It was actually a platform for eco-entrepreneurs where we've been coaching them and boosting their courage so that they could cope with the COVID-19. And to move on with the last leadership dialogue, which is about accelerating the implementation of the environmental dimension. So we believe that we need to organize more capacity building in green skills. And we've been organizing the Sustainable Waste Management Challenge and the Circular Design Training to address this phenomenon. And also we believe that we need to offer scholarship for green education so that we can promote green initiative. And also we need to focus more on environmental protection instead of economic development. And we've been having several projects in these lines, like we have had the seed library, which is again a unique project in Mauritius. So the aim was to gather as many seeds as we can so that we can have a greener Mauritius. And as you can see in the next picture, it is a Sustainable Waste Management Challenge, which was again a platform for youth, whereby they could come and present their ideas, and they've been developing their skills through these projects. Yes, so this is it from JCI. We hope that we've been answering the 3 thematic topics, and we will be more than happy to answer any question from the audience. And also you can learn more on us on Facebook, Instagram, and through our website. I thank you all for your attention, and I would like to thank UNDP team, especially Mr. Desha, for organizing such a wonderful event, allowing all NGOs the chance so that we can also voice out our concern and have a platform where we can discuss. Thank you, everyone, and we look forward for lots of collaboration together so that we can obviously have a better, I would say, a better Mauritius, and we can work in line with the goals of the government. Thank you, everyone. I wish you all a pleasant evening.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Gu-Chun, also Mr. Chedi, for the presentation. I was a bit worried in the beginning because you were not connected. My renewed apologies for to all of you. We waited a bit, but I think in the end, we are having a good exchange. May I remind all the those of you who are presenting to let us have, in case you haven't sent it, your full questionnaire. I know I have it from the Rotary Club of Beauvoir-Saint-Rosil and from Rotary, but I'm not sure about JCI. So we understand that your PowerPoint is just a summary, but we will welcome the full questionnaire. So on this, thank you again for staying within time, much within time, and we'll try to catch up in the end. May I now pass on to the third presentation, which will be made by District Officer Lina Pem-Siupol I think you've done a wonderful work with Interact and Rotact Club, so I'll let you speak. Over to you, Madam Siupol.
Thank you. All protocols observed. Very good evening. Thank you, Pipi Madhu, for organizing this session, and especially for giving the opportunity to the youngsters to participate in this brilliant session. Actually, before I start to share what the students came out with, I would like to just say that it's been a group work with 63 members of all the different, of 12 different Interact clubs in Mauritius, and also the Rotary Club of Beaubassin-Rosil, who were more like the team leaders for each group. There were 6 groups initially, 6 groups, and the team leaders have merged all the ideas where we came out with a summary that the whole questionnaire I have already sent to you, Pipi Madhu, and it's quite bulky. However, I have just made a resume of what they have been, the most important point that came out from the youngsters. And they were very happy to have their voice in that session. So coming to the very first question, the leadership dialogue 1, better late than never, a point to reflect on, since despite being warned about the global warming and healthy way of living, including environment, economic, etc., everything has been taken for granted for years, and we can now see the results. Never think an action is too small. What is important is it will contribute into a blossom future. So whatever action they are going to take, they are taking, be it the interactors, being the Rotaractors, they know that they are doing it for the future. To put everything into practice, inculcate a healthy living into the young generation so that it becomes part of themselves. If we want to have a better tomorrow, start today. Limit the use of plastic, which will definitely harm the environment, and encourage the population to move towards renewable energies through campaigns and by using the solar panels. Encourage mangrove plantation and protect our coral reef, reduce the beach erosion, condemn activities leading to soil erosion by reinforcing the policies. Protection of aquatic biodiversity. There should be a marine policy and campaigns to create awareness about coral reefs and its importance. A very important point that came is to include indigenous people in discussion, but not to speak for them. Learn from the stories of progress, focus on priorities, and most important, bridge the gap between the policy and the practice. This was for the first part. The second part, the second question, while the COVID pandemic is one of the outlying crises in our time, this is also an opportunity to transform our thoughts on our economies and societies. It can be an opening to empower everyone to face the future with confidence. This can also boost the international community's determination to drive forward the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Decade of Action to deliver on the Sustainable Development Goals. To achieve a sustainable and inclusive recovery from the pandemic, regional cooperation and coordination will be essential. Water collection systems at each household. Promote the local consumption and production to become food independent. Gender equality, increasing inclusion of both gender in the different fields. More funding on sustainable projects. Awareness training on sustainability and specific opportunities. Sharing of best practices across countries. And developed countries to help underdeveloped or developing countries with technological, financial, and sanitary guidelines. The new skills that are needed, the green construction, promote sustainability in training, the SMEs like handcraft, environmental engineer, and provide career guidance on eco-friendly mechanism right from the schooling. Leadership Dialogue 3. When we talk of sustainable development, our first thoughts are directed to saving the planet. How are we going to do it is the most important question. Setting up of unbiased and truly independent regulatory bodies set up an independent body to facilitate communication between private independent sectors, and more subsidies from government for even hybrid cars. Expertise, funds, grants, schemes, training, monitor financial institutions, implement ideas in line with the donut economy. Partnership from UN that can be drafted together. Modernizing existing infrastructure, carpooling, improve public infrastructure, favoring renewable resources. For example, solar power lights, street lights. Few countries can be examples as they construct around trees instead of destroying nature. They take the environment into consideration while doing advancement and constructions at the same time. The last part, the last question, we've combined all the groups together, and it was really an amazing part that we got on the follow-up activities that are needed. Help and raise awareness into African countries, where African countries do not have the same resources as European countries. Enforce laws regarding plastic use, the fuel usage, zero waste by recycling, treaties with other countries to help our planet, and implement the ideas talked during the Stockholm+50. Renewable energy, more budget so as to implement the ideas. Training sessions required in the different fields using experts, and regular meetings to find out where we stand. One last point that was on which emphasis was laid during the session was the most important. The youngsters want to see that all the points that have been mentioned, where they have been passed, are not only on paper, but they want to really see the implementation. Here I am. Thank you. And thank you to all interactors and retractors for sharing such beautiful ideas. There's much more, but it's too much to share. I have sent the presentation.
Well, thank you, Lina. Like I mentioned, I think it's more elaborate in the questionnaire. But before you end, I know you had a group of people and you had shared some photos. So now I'm asking, while you're still here, say a few words about the photos. Jean-Yann, our IT logistic person, will project the photos, because it'll be good to show the audience the profile of the people who have been participating there, right? Jean-Yann, can you show a couple of those photos, please? A few comments while we share. Okay. Yes, Lina.
Yes, it's the group work. Actually, they are the 6 groups that were working, the 6 groups around. And the middle group was the team leader, where we joined together to finalize all the questionnaires, all the ideas that came during that session. It was a 2.5 hour session with the 63 youngsters, first of all. And then we wrapped up everything and made the questionnaire that we sent to you.
And yeah, because you have 1 or 2 minutes left, right? Okay, you can share that a few words on these.
Yes, the Rotact Club of Boba-Saint-Rosil was the only Rotact Club that participated. Because of COVID also, I cannot have too many people. However, we managed to have 63 members who participated. So in each group, there were 2 representatives of the Rotact Club as team leaders. And all the other Interact clubs that I have mentioned, 11 Interact clubs, so they were in the groups as members participating with the presidents. And from there, we gathered all the ideas. At least they have been there to give to show their voice, to make them heard.
And what is the age group of the interactors, please?
So interactors are those below 18, like those who participated were 14 to 18. And the retractors are above 18. And we had 63 members, out of which we had 30 male and 33 female.
Okay, thank you. One last photo, and then we'll do we have another photo? I think we have one more. All right.
The middle one are all the presidents of the Interact clubs, and the other photos are the group that the group pictures that were taken during their working session.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, District Officer Lina. I think you're also from the Rotary Club of Bobasa and Wazil, but you have on your own taken the initiative to bring all these people together. To despite COVID, you've arranged so that they are not in the same room. It needs quite a bit of organization to do that, and we have your questionnaire, so we thank you. And all those youngsters, like we said today, not only we have a lot of youth participating, but also the results of the work of good youth, and I think they're more concerned with the planet. So our thanks, please transmit also the thanks of UNDP and the Ministry of Environment to all your participants who've been there. And we hope we can continue the work like Mrs. Manik had said before.
Quite a lot are already in the audience right now.
Okay, yeah, so they can always send a chat message. So, all right, thank you. A big bravo to you and your interactors. At some point in time, we were saying, what about the participation of children? So I don't know whether somebody is 14 to 15 in the children, but I'll prefer to call it youth. We are happy to have a large number of youngsters among our audience, but also participating. So now, thank you again, Lina. May I move to the last presentation? I would tell Mr. Nanjani, don't worry about the protocol, go straight to your presentation because we don't have too much time. People will understand. We've been late. So over to you, Madam Bowen.
Okay, so all protocols observed. Good evening. Well, I'm from the Rotary Club of Utrive. So even at our club level, we are also concerned about the environment. We are still concerned about the SDGs, how to go about with it. So we have been engaging ourselves in a plantation of trees, donation of flower pots to secondary institutions, donation of water tank at SOS Village. Now, going directly to the dialogue one, that is good practices and pathways for a healthy planet. We are all concerned about the SDGs aim set up in 2015. It is a universal call and action should be taken from now only. So to achieve this, we need to have our pathways. So for me, to reach the target in 2030, we need to sensitize, have a sensitization campaign through media, the press, the radio, inform the public, the youngsters about the 17 SDGs. We can create awareness through education. These children who are, kids now will be grown-up adults by the year 2030. So the education should start right now at pre-primary level with basic formation and move till the tertiary. And the curriculum should be reviewed, have an adapted one to the existing problems and potential solutions to the existing actual problem. As our local problems are specific, we need a curriculum which will address our needs. The contents of the curriculum taught at school will definitely be diffused at family level. Good practices learned at school, that is, to care for the environment, shall be put into action at home. Maybe at home they can see that they reduce the throwing of litter, they save energy, they save water. Authorities can come up with more innovative policies to motivate the population to show more concern for a healthy planet. That is, you can encourage each family to plant a tree. Now, our involvement, that is the dialogue one, number two, involvement towards a healthy planet. As I'm a rector in a private secondary school, so we have an eco club at the school, eco club, an agricultural youth club, and an interact club. So it is through these avenues that we function to sensitize around 1,100 students on the importance of protecting and conserving our biodiversity. At school level, we teach them how to make use of renewable sources of energy. In this wavelength, solar panels have been installed at school. How to save water. We have rainwater harvesting system. This water is used to irrigate vegetables grown in the school garden. Compost making. Encourage pupils to bring biodegradable food materials from home. Collecting of plastic materials to be sent for recycling. Segregation of waste is an ongoing project at school. Sustainable climate smart agricultural practices such as aquaponic and vertical farming. At community level, we engage ourselves. We have been planting Ashoka trees all along the promenade of the village. Planting of trees at the area health center. Endemic plants in the garden along the promenade. Distribution of plants in the community. Cleaning of public beaches. Now the dialogue 2, the sustainable and inclusive recovery from COVID-19. There should be continuous sensitization at national levels on the causes and consequences of this virus. Continue to motivate the population to adopt an appropriate and effective precautionary measure to avoid the spread of the disease. Authorities need to communicate appropriate facts and figures to the population so that this arouses awareness and lead them to adopt a healthy lifestyle. Youngsters need to be educated on proper sanitary protocols and inculcate within them a sense of responsibility, tolerance, and respect towards others. Now the dialogue 3, challenges to achieve the commitments, the 2030 agenda. The community should be informed effectively on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And the SDGs that have impacted me more are the SDG 2, end hunger and achieve food security, improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. SDG 4, to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. SDG 15, protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystem, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation and biodiversity loss. Bearing in mind these goals, at the school level, we inculcate in our young learners a passion to preserve and protect our biodiversity. For example, on Monday 11th at school level, we organized a half-day activity on the Safe Soil project, which is initiated by Sadhguru from Isha Foundation. Among the various activities held, our students got the opportunity to enhance their creative and manipulative skills. They expressed their ideas through mural painting, poster making, all in relation to safe soil for a healthy planet. So thank you. I thank Mr. Disha, the Rotary Club Beaubassin-Rosil, Rotarians, UNDP for this wonderful reflection. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. You stayed within the time and you said so much in it with your slides. So we are very happy. I know I've seen your questionnaire, and again, please extend our thanks to whoever participate in this. And if you want to do it at school level, you have time. You can send us another questionnaire that would represent, let's say, the discussion from your school. We would welcome this, and maybe you can do it within a few days, right? This will be more welcome, right? So now we've come to the end of the presentation. I know time is going up, but we'll allow a few minutes for the questions. Now, those who want to put some questions, there are two ways. You can send it through the chat, or you can raise your hand. Maybe we can then pass on the mic to you. Would that be okay, Jean-Yann, if we have a few people who raise their hand and they can, but be brief in your question, and we'll try to see who answers it. Or you can make a statement. It doesn't have to be a question. It can be a comment also, right? We want to talk less from this side. We want to hear a little bit from your side. And of course, in the meanwhile, if nobody, if nobody is raising their hand, I could also ask some of the panelists to make some additional comment. President Odell Singh, you've heard quite a lot. Would you say 1 or 2 words on until we get somebody raise their hand?
Certainly, Past President Madhu. I think I'd like to thank all the participants and all the presentations were a really wonderful presentation. I think you've got food for thought and a lot of feedbacks and reflection to work on for your consultation. I think all the presentations were well prepared and you could see the amount of reflection before preparing these presentations. And I think this webinar will definitely allow us to move forward, because I could see Mrs. Bowen talking about the curriculum as well. So I'm thinking about how we can integrate it into education. PP Chris focusing on hunger and so many things which we're already working on it, but sometimes we tend not to we helping, we doing a lot of service project, but are we really helping the planet? These are the questions we could still think about, and I think it's time to reflect with some deep reflection, and we are awaiting your consultation to be completed so that we read the report as well. So
okay, yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, from the question and answers Q&A, I have 2. One, both of them are saying wonderful opportunity and so on. Thanks to all the speakers. But one of the questions say, could a testimony of the SDG experience at, I suppose, means micro level, it's written micron there. And I would interpret this as meaning an example of some of the projects. Now, I know in the beginning, Rotary Club of Beaubassin-Rodil had mentioned, like sharing water tanks and all. Anybody else would want, I think we've had, anybody want to just mention something? Because I know all of you have begun to give an example. Anybody want to talk?
Have someone who's raised their hand and they can now speak. Tanya, go ahead, please.
Oui, mais je pense, bon, merci, mais je pense qu'il y avait une question avant moi, c'est ça? Non?
Ok, Tanya, you're on. On vous entend.
Let's listen to you, Tanya.
Ok, bonsoir. Avant tout, merci à tout le monde. C'était extrêmement intéressant d'un point de vue de réflexion. J'avais une question plus large finalement qui rejoignait l'objectif de Stockholm 50+, qui était que, en tout état de cause, finalement, il y a eu différents sommets de la Terre auparavant. Il y a eu Rio, il y a eu un certain nombre de sommets où les parties prenantes, les États se sont assis pour essayer de fixer des objectifs. Je pense d'abord aux objectifs du millénaire. Et on a pu effectivement constater finalement un manque un succès relativement mitigé finalement de ces objectifs, puisque la plupart des États n'ont pas réussi à aller au bout de leurs objectifs. Aujourd'hui, au niveau du Rotary, on est en train d'essayer de ramener ces objectifs à un niveau plus local, plutôt que de le penser au niveau national. Mais je voulais demander vos opinions, vu que vous êtes des acteurs de différentes parties prenantes. Est-ce que vous ne pensez pas finalement qu'il devrait y avoir finalement une forme de réflexion à la hauteur du Rotary de Lille et des autres clubs, des autres organisations, je pense à la JCIC, etc., pour mener une action qui s'inscrit dans la durabilité et non pas rester finalement au niveau des actions ponctuelles que nous permettent aujourd'hui de faire notre champ de compétences. Voilà, c'est plus ça. Merci.
Ok, merci Tania. Je pense que tout à l'heure, peut-être quelqu'un pourra répondre. Je suis du Rotary Club parce que bon, ça s'adresse surtout au Rotary. Je vois aussi une main levée de Gaëlle Henriette Bolly. Jean-Yann, could you give her the mic?
It's him. Gaëlle.
Yes, so hi everyone. So it's always a pleasure to discuss about the SDGs, because I believe that indeed we are making very laudable projects. So I think that I'm just going to broaden the scope of my question that I dropped in the Q&A. So indeed, you're right, moderator. I was referring to the micro level. So I believe that every organization is sharing their experience as groups. So we are reflecting at groups, we're talking about schools, we're talking about awareness campaigns, and it's fantastic. But at the end, does it stop over there? Or are we really, nurturing this culture, for example, for them to bring it at home? So, for example, you have some people, because we're talking about literacy, we're talking about digitalization, we're talking about new means somehow of sharing knowledge and imparting it to others. But when it comes to our level at home, how are we promoting it? So just one example that I would like to refer to, we all refer to the pandemic. So we have all seen that it has contributed to the self-empowerment of people when it comes to planting vegetables. So somehow by this means, we have been contributing to the economic growth, which is indeed one of the SDG goals. So is this actually being implemented also at the level of the participants of the respective groups with respect to the projects that has been achieved? Thank you.
Yes, may I take this opportunity to just maybe provide an answer to that? Today, we're talking about Rotary clubs, but some of the consultation we've done, at least two of them at university level, group of students, so then they talk on their own. We've had not too many, but a group of youth and person with disabilities, and then we have another group of women and elderlies and children, although we didn't have specifically children at that place, but representative. And a bit different, we have what we call grassroots level, where, for example, a group of 50 people at a je ne sais pas comment on appelle, pour Pamela, somebody could help me later on, bon, une retraite d'une cinquantaine de personnes. Mais when you look at the themes that come repeatedly, you'll find things like, which is mentioned today, waste segregation, but doing at home, school gardening, home, roof gardening, kitchen gardening, et puis il y a le circular economy. Je vais résumer en energy savings, hein, donc éteindre les lampes qu'on n'utilise pas, water saving. Donc, all these things keep coming, and you just wonder, what are we waiting to introduce waste segregation? So, what I can assure you, Mr. Bolli, c'est que although people are talking at Rotary clubs or JCI club, what we've heard up to now, engagement is at individual level. And I would add something, maybe what we need is a larger group, because those who are saying it, fine, we are very happy, but instead of being 60 or 70 today, it would have been better if we were, 10 times more, or whatever you do at home at a larger level. If somebody else wants to talk over, I just wanted to clarify that.
Can I, Madhu, can I just
yes,
add
yes,
on
yes,
what you say, right? Thank you very much. And just also try to help Tanya, Rotarian Tanya, to maybe what she's questioning is very right. And if you see the Word document that we sent in answering all the questions of these three themes, you will find somewhere I mentioned something called pyrolysis. Now, I'm taking this as an example. I'm not saying that people need to do it, right? A country like Mauritius, right? If it is very shocking to see that for 2 inhabitants, we have 1 car. For 2 inhabitants, we have 1 car. This is mentioned in my Word document report, right? So each car now, we use tires. And nobody has thought that these tires can be recycled, because we don't know where to dump them. And recycling a tire, a scrap tire, can produce electricity. There's so many things that have been said since we're talking of sustainable Mauritius, sustainable government. So now the thing is, all boils down to you want it or you don't want it, is from the top. If on the top, I don't say the Prime Minister is responsible, please, no, but somebody on the top who rules the country, who drives the country, must take ownership of all this first. Then the second thing will be immediately have a national policy on these things, which will engage every person at any level, school, government, individuals, everybody, right, to come now to contribute what we should be doing. But telling and doing is not enough. The regulatory requirement must come in parallel just to make it realized. But the problem now comes, the back puller, somebody pulls at the back. Who pulls at the back? Now, those developers who are making money because they are competing and making money, not thinking of the planet because they need to make money. But since year 2015, whatever these 7 SDGs you will see, there's no SDG that doesn't take care of any of our activities. All these SDGs take care of the activities. There have been many countries like Rotary in Tanya just said, Rio, 1992, Chapter 21, Green Globe. There's 2 audited Green Globe in Mauritius. Then everybody trying to do something fine, but they're not building together to have small wins and declare a bigger win at national level and world level. This is the only thing.
Thank you. Chris, thank you. I want to stay within time. We are nearly 8:30. I see some people have started leaving. So we thank you for reflection. I will go back maybe now to Mrs. I promise you, Madam Manik, to have a couple of minutes more on, because you heard a lot about the environment today, and you can catch up on what you had to say. Over to you, Madam Manik.
Exactement, c'est ça dont je parlais, Pipi Chris. Merci pour ta perspective.
Yes, those who are not talking, please put your mic off. Thank you.
Sorry.
Allez, Madame Manik, over to you.
No, I think first of all, what I appreciate here is that at the end of the day, I can see that we all want to move in the same direction. I don't see anyone moving in another direction. I think we all want to move in the same direction. And as you said already, some keywords, it keeps on coming: circular economy, sustainable consumption, saving energy, all these, it keeps on coming and coming. So we know that these are the basic things that we need to do. And one very important aspect of it, and I saw that in the presentations, is education. And I heard from the youth. So that's where I think we are lagging behind, because if we don't have this mindset, it's not in our culture to really be like environmental conscious. This is where then we are lagging behind, and I think this is where we really need to inspire people to really act. Okay. Now, je ne veux pas être sur la défensive, but I've heard some comments. Now, par exemple, pour tri, pour tri à la source. So il y a aussi for the tires. Now, all these are projects. They are projects that have already been initiated. So it's in fact it was in the budget. Now it takes time. Definitely, it's taking some time. But for the tires, I think the project has already been approved. And for the tri à la source, so maybe you already know, Mr. Desha. So we are having a bill which is soon going to be promulgated, where we are going to, il y aura tout ça qui va venir, the circular economy, et puis reuse, reduction, tout ça, ça va venir avec la loi, where we are going to put all this in force. Et puis there were also some comments about the SDGs, just to take this, that, parce que je crois que Tanya avait posé la question, que how are we like monitoring? Comment on sait qu'on est en train de bien faire ou ne pas bien faire? Alors, il y a, mais ça, this is at the macro level. At the macro level, so we are having the Ministry of Foreign Affairs qui est en train de, il y a ce système de monitoring pour tous les SDGs, and we have to report. Par exemple, là, en ce moment, on est en train de faire ce reporting. Alors, il y a ce monitoring. C'est pas que on sait pas où on est, mais seulement on sait où on est en train de, comme si lag behind. Par exemple, pour biodiversity, on sait qu'on est, we are lagging behind. So this is how we are going to monitor. Et puis, bon, je ne sais pas, mais je vais juste remercier tout le monde parce que je pense que we've got very, very good innovative ideas also. And, you know, I think we all want to do something for this country. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay, merci, Madame Manik. I think on this, we almost 8:30. I would like to end the session. But first of all, a lot of thanks to everybody. I might miss some people, but first of all, to all the participants that logged in today, and some people, my apologies again. We had a bit of technical glitch. You also, Mrs. Manik, you couldn't connect. But we hope that the quality of the discussion we have, the suggestion, have made up for the problem that we had in the beginning. Then the Rotary Club, through the Rotary Club of Beaubassin, and then all those people in your team, President Arvin, through the Rotaractors, the members, the interactors. It's very pleasing to see very young people meeting together on their own. And then we have the JCIC Club. I shouldn't forget about that. Merci, Madame Guru Chern, et aussi Madame Chedi, Anusha Chedi, for your thoughts. And at the ministry, Madame, merci for all your support, for your colleagues and do it. And last but not the least, our team at UNDP who's working on that. Today, there was a bit stretch. Donc, il y a Jean-Yann à la régie, il y a Sharon, Stéphane aussi. I'm not sure whether Sharon Sanassi is there, but and other members of UNDP been working. You know how much time it takes to organize a session like that. I think President Odell Singh mentioned the number of interaction we've had, and you can multiply it by 3 or 4 or 5 because we had the same thing with other intervenants also. Mais à la fin, I think it's good. We welcome all the questionnaires that you've sent. And in case you want to send some more, like I mentioned to Mrs. Beaumont, at school level, because we want to show sometimes a questionnaire is not just one person. It's a group of 20, 30, but it can also be a group of 100 or 200 if you've done some brainstorming and convert them. Donc, on that, let me stop here. Grand merci à tous et grand bravo, and hopefully we can have other sessions. Last year we had something on the climate promise, and we said maybe we can do it again. There are lots of good ideas. I repeat what I said earlier. I think what we hear today, people are very engaging, but we'd like to have more than that. Ça va? Merci. Un mot de la fin. Anybody want to say one word?
Maduka?
Yes, yes. Ah, oui. Spark Blue, right? And sorry, I forgot. Is that Stéphane? You want to talk about that? Spark Blue and le global survey? Which one first?
Yes, 3 things actually. We invite all the participants. First of all, thank you for your participation this evening. We invite all participants to continue the discussion on Spark Blue. Okay, Spark Blue is a platform which is a kind of repository where we actually collect all the data. So we invite you to continue the discussion on Spark Blue. This is one thing. And before we leave, it would be a very, very cool thing to have all the attendees and participants switch on their camera so that I can have a screenshot to actually see all of you. And I'm also inviting the attendees to do this. Jean-Yann, if you could give the possibility to the attendees to switch on their camera, this will allow to have a photo of all people present today. So continue to follow Stockholm+50 on Spark Blue. The event itself is in June, but there's a lot of sharing and of discussion that can carry on, so that Madhuko and Sharon, who are actually the national consultants and the people working on the compilation of all this information, a report will be produced from all the data that we've collected today and also during the previous consultations. But if you want to enrich what you have already provided, so I invite you to continue the discussion on Spark Blue. So Jean-Yann, can we have a view of attendees too, because I know some of them.
Unfortunately, we can't have them turn on their camera now because it was preset.
Okay, no problem. I would ask Koma Guruchan and Sharon Kudman to switch on their camera so that we can get some more photos.
And in the meanwhile, while you are having these photos, Stefan, so Stefan Belrose is our communication specialist. We mentioned about something called the global survey. It's a very nice survey. It won't take more than 3-4 minutes for you to take it. There are 10 questions, 9 of them are multiple choice, and the 10th one if you want to write something. Now to do that, there are 2 ways. One, maybe if we can show you the link, but the other one, if you go on the internet and you say Stockholm+50 global survey, you will get it. But we can also send the link to maybe the Rotary Club and those, and then you can disseminate it. So not only do we ask you to take part in the survey, because at international level, they're going to capture this. We don't work on it, but in the end, we expect they'll tell us the number of people who participated and maybe a breakdown of the question. But beyond answering the survey yourself, we would also ask you to disseminate it in your network and let a maximum number of people take part in that survey. So that definitely, we will share the link to the people we have been connecting, and then you can disseminate it. Right, over to you, back to Stefan. What do you want us to do, please?
Yes, the last thing, I've already done the photo. The last thing is that UNDP has got a communication unit, and this evening's event will be on our Facebook and our social media channels tomorrow. And in this post, there will be the link to actually access this global survey. So if you don't want to go to Spark Blue straight, you can just follow UNDP on the social media tomorrow, and we will provide a little coverage of this evening's event, and we will also provide the link for the global survey, which is actually disseminated in over 100 countries. Thank you very much. Manu, if you want to close the
no, you want the photo, is it okay now? You can take it, or you...
It's done, unless you can get one with everyone smiling. For example, Sharon Kudman.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Bye. Au revoir tout le monde. Merci. Bonsoir. Bonsoir.
Au revoir. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. À la prochaine.